Rick and Ted, and they were here in 2011. And I told these guys to pick out two favorite cars of this show. And Rick, I'd like you to come up here. Give Rick from Ocala, Florida, a big applause. And the first thing, Rick, I want you to let everybody know, what do you really think and what is the real difference between a Mustang show in Norway and a Mustang show in the United States?
Holy cow, what's the biggest difference? You guys are rough on the machinery. I mean, you just, and we love it because broken parts is just more business. No, it is so gratifying to see the enthusiasm and how much passion there is here in Norway and how much you drive and enjoy and race and truly do everything that is about Mustang. It's fantastic to see, and every time, this is my third time here, and I couldn't be more amazed and very, very enthusiastic myself about how nothing has died out here. In fact, it's just stronger and stronger, and I'd like to thank you on behalf of my wife, Elaine, who's standing over there, my lovely wife, and Ted Finucci and his wife, Kim, who are both here. Ted runs all four NPD operations for me so that I can get to work late in the day and nothing goes wrong. But I'll tell you what, there are very few events. We have racing/show events in the States. But I think everybody in the U.S. should come here at least once to see what you guys do, because it's impressive.
Thanks a lot. Give him an applause. And we will, they deserve that applause. The thing that Ricky is really surprised about is the amount of the electric cars we have on the road here. That's something that you luckily don't have yet.
I've been getting a rash. And I'm itching. But that's okay. I only got several more days to go.
Okay, Rick and Ted, they picked out two favorite car, and the first one is the oldest one, and of these two you picked. So let's hear why you picked that car and what kind of car it is. I know his name, but you can first talk about the car.
Okay, if we're getting these in the right order, the oldest one was the one that Ted picked. It's a 1967 Mustang Fastback with a 427 in it, with Hillborn injection, if I'm remembering right. It's got an 8-stack on it. Beautifully built, beautiful color of blue, just everything about the car. There's a lot of times you walk up to a car and not that you love it, but there's a few things that you would have done differently. And this is a car that you walk up to and there's nothing that you can point out that you would have done differently on the car. It's just a beautiful, beautiful car, and I'm sure if the owner is within, can hear me blabbing about it, he knows that he's already won the award.
Øyvind Bredesen! Det en ære å få en premie der. Yep. Ted here is the one that picked the car. And the next car is the one that Rick picked himself. And it's not always about how polished, how nice and show quality the car is. It's also about passion, being a special car. Tell us a little bit about your own pick, and I know why.
Okay, my own pick, and I just got to tell you a little slightly boring story. Back in the 1970s, my mother's daily driver was a 1968 Shelby GT 500 KR.
Wow.
My father bought it out of the newspaper as a slightly used car because it had air conditioning. And my mother, she drove a 1967 GTO up until then, but it didn't have air conditioning, and we lived in Florida, and those two things weren't good. So the Shelby became her new daily grocery getter. She also worked at a department store as a department manager, and drove that to work every day. So when I was 8 years old, I used to sit on the console of that car and she would let me steer it through our neighborhood. So I had very big memories of that car. It was originally Highland green. When my parents divorced in the early 80s, my mother sold the car to a gentleman in Georgia who painted it red. Red's fine, but my memories of this car were not of it red. Years later, 1991, that gentleman who bought it from my mother calls my father out of the blue and says, "Would you like to buy your ex-wife's Shelby back?" And my father says, "Maybe." So we went and looked at it, and it was beautifully restored, and now it was red, and we decided to buy it back. And from that moment forward, I kept on telling my father, "I can't stand this damn red, and we've got to paint it back to Highland Green someday," which I finally accomplished. We completely redid the car over again in 2010, and I now have my mother's Highland Green 68 Shelby that she drove, every day in the middle of the 1970s. So I could not pass by the same year, same color, same model, same body style GT500 KR that had the same history, that it was born Highland Green. At some point, somebody decided to spray it red, and then the gentleman who owns it now did the right thing and put it back to its beautiful shade of Highland Green, and did a beautiful job, I must say. The whole car is just fantastic. He tells me that he drives it a lot, and that makes me happy. And it was an easy choice for me. I saw it yesterday. I looked at all the other cars today, but there's too much cohesion between my childhood and my past and that car. I had to pick it.
Frode Johansson fra Odda! Woo! Frode, this is an honor. You have something to say, or did you lost your voice?
Because I was at his shop in 2017, and the girl behind the desk said, "Now you can't come in here because there's nobody there." And I told the girl, "I drank beer with Rick in Norway on the Mustang show. Yeah, you can go in." and we were 27 people from my hometown American club. So all of us get in, and I took picture of your cars, detailed picture to do my car. So that's good. Yeah, I know. So I have plenty picture of your cars.
Anybody who wants to
Thank
come
you.
and see our cars in Florida, just say you had beer with me today.
Yeah, shake hands, buddies. What Rick, I know you guys have a little problem with English, but what Rick just said is that every time you are in Florida, don't rent the car, just come and borrow his cars from the back there. That's what you meant, right?
Borrow some memories. Maybe not the car. I probably don't have a battery in it anyhow, so you weren't going to get very far. And I'd also like to say, before I give the microphone back, Richard and Trim, Pony Parts, we have been in a relationship for almost 30 years now. Two gentlemen that I could not speak more highly of. You're like brothers to us. There's such a tight tie between NPD and Pony Parts for all these years, and hopefully many years to come. I saw so many NPD parts and decals on cars here, and it just warms my heart. I'm going to tell my now 81-year-old father when I get home about everything that I saw here today, and I just want to say to everybody, thank you, and very much thank you, buddy.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Rick and Ted from National Parks Depot and their beautiful wife. Let's give them some beers and show them how we drink in Norway later tonight. Okay.